Hi, and welcome to another episode of Childlight Chapters. Today we are reading the first chapter of Gracefully Grayson by Ami Polonsky. It looks like it's going to be a great book, so let's check it out.
Gracefully Grayson, a novel by Ami Polonsky. Chapter 1. If you draw a triangle with a circle resting on the top point, nobody will be able to tell that it's a girl in a dress. To add hair, draw kind of a semicircle on top. If you do this, you'll be safe because it looks like you're just doodling shapes. I was in 3rd grade when I realized I could draw princesses without anyone knowing, and for more than 3 years, I've been sketching the same thing in the margins of my notebooks at school. I look up at the board. Mr. Finnegan has already given us almost an entire page of notes, more than most teachers, but I don't mind. Humanities is the best class of the day, and besides, it's no problem for me to take notes and draw at the same time. I sketch another triangle dress in my notebook, circle on the top point, thin semicircle of hair. I try to look at it like I've never seen it before, just to confirm that nobody else would know that sketch is really a princess. But I'm good. It's too abstract. My pen is a glitter pen, silver. I have a gold one in my backpack, but I always leave the purple and pink ones in my drawer at home with the rest of my art supplies. If anyone asks, I can always say I found the silver and gold ones on the floor in the gym or something, but probably nobody will. I want to fill in the dress with the shining silver, add big eyes and a smile and long shimmering hair, but I never would because that's not what boys are supposed to do. I squeeze my eyes almost shut to try to see the princess the way I want to. All I can see is her silver outline though, so I rest my head in my hand and look out the window instead. Outside, a giant truck barrels down the street, and a city bus honks as it turns the corner. Mrs. Frank, the gym teacher, is bringing some little kids out to the soccer field. They're skipping and running across the grass. Beyond them is Chicago's skyline. Even though the leaves are starting to change color, it still feels like summer, and it's way too hot in the classroom. My bright yellow basketball pants are sticking to my thighs. I push my bangs to the side as I adjust the sweatband on my forehead. Finn is awesome, and I'm lucky I got him for humanities, especially since Mrs. Tell is the other humanities teacher, and she's probably 90 years old and supposedly horrible. My cousin Jack had her last year and was always in trouble in her class. He blamed it on how boring she was, but lately he's in trouble in every class, and most of what he says these days is bull. I look back to my notebook as Finn asks Anthony to read a paragraph about the Holocaust out loud. I think of my drawing pads at home in my top desk drawer. Usually I draw the castles and landscapes huge and then make the people tiny, so they're barely noticeable. The queen, the king, and the little blonde princess. When I was younger, my mom was an artist, and I wonder for the millionth time what she would have thought of those drawings and of the sketches in my notebooks at school, and I wonder what she drew when she was my age. The one painting that she left behind, especially for me, is of the earth surrounded by a wave of trees and sprinkled with smiling animals. Behind the earth is the sky, brightening from darkness into light, and at the top of the sky, one bird that's red, yellow, and blue is soaring, all alone. The painting hangs on the wall next to my bed, so I fall asleep each night looking at it, especially at the bird, and I wake up to it every morning. Finn writes the names of some places in Europe on the board. I turn to a clean page. We're going to start talking about people in specific cities who risked their lives to help Jews escape from Nazis, Finn said. He sits on his desk as he waits for us to finish writing. I look up at him when I'm done. He looks relaxed as usual. His white dress shirt is tucked neatly into his dark jeans, and he's holding a red dry erase marker in his hand. These people had to keep their involvement in the resistance secret. He emphasizes the word by walking back to the board to write it above the other notes. I doodle a new princess and sketch a jagged circle around her. How would it feel to hide an enormous, important, life-threatening secret from your friends, your neighbors, and maybe even members of your own family? Finn continues. I bend down and take my gold glitter pen out of my backpack. His question makes me forget all about the Holocaust and think instead of when we were in elementary school, back when we had recess every day, and how, for so many years, I sat on the side steps alone, watching everyone else play. I draw a ring of gold flames outside of the jagged circle. They surround the princess. She suffocates. The clock ticks on the wall and someone coughs behind me. Otherwise, the class is still. Grayson, any thoughts? Finn finally asks. He usually calls on me if nobody answers. I guess because I can always come up with something to say. What do you think? He goes on. How would you feel if you were going about your life, day to day, all the while hiding a dangerous secret? I try to seem calm, like I usually feel in humanities, but my heart is starting to race. I hesitate and look down at my notes. I mean, I guess I'd feel like it would be safer to stay away from other people. I finally stumble. Finn waits for me to say more, but I'm kind of hoping he'll call on someone else now. Can you elaborate? He asks. I adjust my sweatband again. It's damp. Well, I say, I'd just stay away from people because I'd be worried I'd accidentally tell them my secret. It sounds like a question the way I say it. I feel my ears turning red, and I flatten down my hair to hide them. The class is quiet, and I look down at my glitter pens. The pause feels like forever. Okay, Finn finally says slowly. Then he's silent for another second. Interesting. Does anyone have any thoughts on Grayson's comment? I avoid his eyes and glance around the room at the faces I've known pretty much since kindergarten. For a minute, I only look at things, not the people, like the thin braid hanging down the side of Haley's head that's clasped at the bottom with one of those tiny heart clips. Megan's pink backpack on the floor next to her desk, the shining wooden desktops. Then I let my brain adjust and I examine the people. Ryan, who is a complete jerk, sits right across the aisle from me. He glances in my direction and I look away. On the other side of me, Lila is twirling her long brown hair into a bun. She seems quiet, but she's completely in charge of the girls. My eyes rest on Amelia, who started at Porter last week. She looks like she belongs in high school, not 6th grade. Her long reddish hair hangs over her huge chest. Slowly, she puts her hand up. She seems nervous, and I feel kind of bad for her. It's probably not easy to move once the school year has already started, and especially not to a school like Porter, where most of us are lifers. I'd actually make friends with more and more people, she says sort of softly when Finn calls on her. I wouldn't stay away from people because that might look suspicious. I'd just try to act normal, like everyone else. Her pale, freckled cheeks look pink. So, Finn says, on one hand we have Grayson's idea to isolate oneself, and on the other hand is Amelia's idea to surround oneself with lots of people in order not to appear suspicious. Next to the word secret, he writes isolate versus integrate in quick, slanted writing. I look up at the clock. It's almost time to go, and I can't wait to get to my next class. I copy the last notes quickly. The bell rings, and I stand up with everyone else. We'll pick up here tomorrow, Finn yells over the sound of rustling notebooks. He glances my way. I concentrate on my shoes as I walk out the door.
That's it for the first chapter of Gracefully Grayson by Ami Polonsky. If you liked it and want to read more, come check it out at the library. Have a good day.